Alright people, a very good morning to you. It's a Wednesday, public holiday today, Labor Day / May Day. Really nice day to walk. I've got some time to spend before my next appointment. So just wanted to touch on a few topics while I go on this kind of a nice short recovery-ish type of walk while I talk to you guys. So recently I posted something about being an athletic weapon on my Instagram post. We touched on certain topics where we're trying to combine all the different training qualities like strength, power, mobility, hypertrophy and conditioning into that same training program. But the question that I get all the time is, how do you actually go about doing that? So traditionally, what most of us fall into would be into this thing called block periodization, where we have a block period of time of between 4 to 6 weeks or so, where we're focused on that one particular quality. So for example, block number 1 would be hypertrophy. Block number 2, which would usually be a strength phase. Block number 3, power, and then it's gonna continue and cycle on and on. When it comes to conditioning as well, it'll be mixed into the program, like long, slow, aerobic based stuff at the start on the first block. Second block, where you go more into the tempo, threshold kind of stuff, and then the final block, more on the short, explosive, fast sprints kind of things. So that's how things would be done back in the day. And as I moved on, as I started to learn more and seek out ideas, I found this thing called vertical integration periodization, which I find is a much better way of programming your workouts or your training sessions or your training blocks. So what this does is it's gonna basically involve all the different qualities. You've got strength, power, hypertrophy, mobility, and all that in that one training block. So for example, block number 1, let's say you want to focus more on hypertrophy. What you're gonna do is you're gonna make hypertrophy your main focus, so your volume for the hypertrophy stuff will be higher, followed by strength will be like somewhere in the second highest volume, and then after that you're gonna get some speed and power work, just minimum bare effort kind of thing. And then maybe let's say in the second block you want to focus a bit more on strength, so you're gonna turn the dial down a little bit on the hypertrophy stuff, turn the dial up a little bit on the power stuff, and more on the strength stuff. Block number 3, perhaps you want to focus more on power type of stuff, so you turn up the dial on the power stuff, your Olympic lifts, your sprints, your plyos and all that, and then turn the dial down on certain qualities like hypertrophy. When you turn the dial down, what's going to happen is that you're going to go for the minimum effective dose. For example, your strength stuff, usually you're going to be pushing at about like a RPE 8, maybe 3-4 sets, 4 to 6 reps in total. And when you turn the dial down, it can be something like 2 sets at RPE 8 with the same rep scheme. So basically just bringing down the volume a little bit more just to manage the fatigue, just touch base with those qualities that you want to maintain while trying to build on the other qualities. So that is vertical integration periodization. Now, to set it up, you don't have to actually train all these qualities in one day. What you can do is you can actually split it up to certain days. For example, you're doing a 4-day split. If you are on a hypertrophy block, so day 1 would be something like strength and hypertrophy. Day number 2 will be a little bit more on your hypertrophy and aerobic conditioning. Day number 3, touch on a little bit of plyos and speed. And day number 4, plyos and power. At the same time, if you still want to focus on conditioning, that does not leave the program. Conditioning, alright, if you are an athlete or you play a sport, keep it at a zone 2 base aerobic conditioning, off-feet cardio type of stuff. Alright, your sport-specific conditioning is going to come from your sport practice. Alright, you only get better at your sport if you do your sport, so don't forget to practice your sport. And I think that's about it. I've got to go catch the train. That's it for today.